Lenovo Legion T7. Is this the best pre-built OEM computer you can buy today? I believe so. Stay with me in this video. We're gonna find out why. We're gonna go in details as always, and we're gonna talk about everything. Hey guys, welcome back to our Hardware Science channel. My name is Ivan, and today we are having the new Lenovo Legion T7i. This is actually the highest spec Lenovo Legion T7. I was not even aware of the existence of this computer until one of you guys, one of my subscribers, suggested, hey, why don't you check out the Lenovo computers? So I went ahead and got one of them. There's a lot of things to talk about this computer. There's so many things to pick apart and compare to the Omen 30L. We're gonna do head-to-head comparison, not only performance, but prices and components. You will see which one will take the lead, which one is gonna be the best. But most of you that are tech savvy probably already know the answer, and spoiler alert, that's the Lenovo T7. Of course, I'm gonna have a series of videos, follow-ups on this computer. We're gonna do a lot of performances, a lot of comparison, but for now, let's talk about the obvious thing, the case. Now, most of you know the biggest problem with the Omen 30L was the case size and the way it's constructed. Although very beautiful design, it's not very functional, especially when you have a high level components like Intel Core i9 10850 or 10900. The 128mm AIO, it's not capable to cope up with the heat dissipation. So these computers are struggling tremendously, and whoever grabbed one of those configurations like myself, you are almost forced to migrate to a new case and get a new AIO just so you can play normal games without your CPU getting thermal throttling and without potentially killing it. So what Lenovo has done is something much better, and you guys are going to see in this video why I think the engineering this computer was so essential and so much more, with the thought of real gamers and real people behind what they wanted to achieve. Now obviously the first thing is going to be the full mesh front. This is exactly what everybody wants to see. I'm a huge fan of mesh fronts, no obstructions, all the fresh air can get sucked in inside the case by these three ARGB fans. Perfect setup. This is exactly how I set up all my computers today, all my aftermarket build-ups that I do. I do three fans in the front, pushing air in. I put my 240 or 280 AIO on the top, and I have another 120mm fan in the back, exhausting. This is my favorite setup, and this is exactly what Lenovo has done. We have three ARGB in the front, we have another 128mm ARGB in the back, and we have 240mm AIO on the top. This is the perfect setup for Core i9. And speaking of setup for Core i9, we have the highest 10900K right here. We know how hot these chips are running, but with this specific 240mm AIO they installed, this one dissipates 170 watts, and I already tested. You'll see some of the results during gaming. This processor barely touches 70 degrees, barely touches. Even running a Cinebench, again, barely touches 70 degrees. With my transplanted Omen 30L onto the new case and 240mm AIO as well, I'm actually going over 80 degrees, which is still much better than what was on the original case, going to 100 degrees and thermal throttling. 80 is still not bad, but this case actually provides, and this AIO provides better cooling because of the way it's set up, and the processor runs extremely cool alongside all the rest of the components. These are the two major things. Obviously the case is bigger. This is 34 liters compared to the 30 liters on the Omen 30L. 4 liters more definitely is more space for the components to breathe, but the biggest change and the biggest essential component that is providing all the cooling is this mesh front with the three fans pushing air inside. Unfortunately, the Omen 30L has only one 120mm fan that is pushing air in on the bottom, which is okay for the graphics card, but it's not enough air to blow across the motherboard and exhaust in the back. Again, we have 92mm on the Omen, we have regular 120mm on this one. Much better. And speaking of motherboard, this motherboard is actually a full-size ATX all the way down, takes all the 7 slots. Again, it's Z490. but is done in a much better way. Having a bigger motherboard like this definitely gives you an option to space out a little bit more the components inside. Obviously, big theme over here is ARGB as well. We have ARGB in the front, we have ARGB on the pump, on the fans on the roof, and on the exhaust fan. We also have the light strip right here. The logo on the front for Legion is also lit up. But overall, I think this is an excellent design case, very sturdy. Despite you will see some of my footage, this one came without the protective foam on top, and it was just dangling inside that big box they shipped it in. So the side, the top side right here is mangled. The other side is mangled, it's all bent up. I already filed a claim with Lenovo and they're gonna ship me a replacement, but I wanted to rush out this video and show you everything about it, even before receiving the replacement, because this is just cosmetics, is really not any damage on the internals. Next thing to talk about, obviously, is the RTX 3070. You will say, well, the Omen came with RTX 3080. Yeah, that's true. For the price of $2,000, you got yourself RTX 3080, and here we have a $2,000 computer that only offers 3070. But hear me out. I have experience now with 3080 and 3070. 3070, I got one from Omen as well. We're gonna do comparison between these two, the Omen 30L version with the 3070, their own version, and the one from Legion. Speaking of the one from Legion, this actually is MSI built custom graphics card for Lenovo, and you'll see on my screenshots and later on some of the tests, when you open GPU-Z, you will see that it says MSI. So this is a dual fan, metal backplate, ARGB controlled with, this is a custom PCB because it comes with a regular 8-pin PCI Express connector. It doesn't come with a 12-pin, just like on the Founders Edition or the Omen 30L version. The HP version of the RTX 3070 comes with that 12-pin proprietary connector. This one is coming with a regular 8-pin custom PCB, and the cooling solution is better than the one on HP. Why? Because the heatsink, it's larger. We have 2.5 slots card right here that is dead silent. When you are playing games with this card, you cannot even hear it. I'm gonna try to provide you some sound samples, but the one from HP, I can definitely hear through the case when I'm playing. Those fans are ramping up a lot. Dual fan setup here as well, but these fans are quieter. It's not audible at all. You cannot hear it because this heatsink is massive. It's almost as big as the one on the 3080, so it's cooled very well, and while playing games, the highest temperature I've seen was 74 degrees, which is absolutely fine for this card. Now, the other thing to talk about is memory. So this one comes with 32 gigabytes, 2x16. They are clocked at 3200 megahertz right off the box. They have their own heat sinks. It's not RGB. It says Legion on the heat sinks. I'm going to show you some footage of that as well. But the memory inside is actually SK Hynix, which is great. You know, it's a company that provides memory modules across all the OEMs, and everybody's using them. This one is coming clocked at 3200 megahertz, so you don't have to do anything. You don't have to overclock it yourself. Yeah, the BIOS again doesn't have XMP profile, and you cannot enable XMP profile easily. Again, you're gonna have to go and do the whole Intel XTU magic, but I'm not even gonna mess around with that because it's already 3200 megahertz. We have the good old GDEC, unfortunately, not XMP, like I mentioned. It's 22CL, but again, it's 3200 megahertz. I'm kind of glad that Lenovo are removing the option to actually lower down the memory or clock it down like HP. Just keep it at 3200, off we go. I mean, most of the customers will not even care. In games, there's not a huge difference when you play with this kind of memory or lower CLs. The difference is marginal, and it's only when it comes to benchmarks who's gonna get a couple points more or less. For gaming, it's absolutely fine. We have a nice shroud on the bottom, completely covering everything. We have 2 slots for hard drives on the bottom, and we have 2 slots for SSDs on the back. This case, I'm not sure who exactly the OEM manufacturer is, but it's made like an aftermarket case. It's made like Cooler Master, or it's made like Fantech, with every aspect of those new cases or modern day cases, with enough space on the top to mount the AO, with enough space in the back so you can tuck your cable and do your cable management with enough space in the bottom for power supplies. And speaking of power supply, the power supply is 650 watt 80 plus gold FSP or Fortron power supply. This is the slight negative where comparing it to HP are giving you 750 watt 80 plus platinum Cooler Master power supply, and Lenovo are only giving you 650, which is perfectly fine for this graphics card. You have plenty of power there, but it might become a little bit short for the RTX 3080. I'm gonna test, of course, and see what the power draw is with 3080 inside and see if you can upgrade. I think it will be possible. It might be a little bit on the edge, but again, you can upgrade your power supply if you really want to later, because this is a standard ATX power supply with no problems whatsoever. So that's the only little negative that HP takes advantage over this Lenovo computer. Now, if we are comparing price to price, if we go to the HP's website trying to configure a similar computer with the similar components, unfortunately, you will see that the Intel version goes all the way to 10850K. At the moment, they don't have the 10900, but with the 10850K, 32 gigabytes of RAM, same storage, which the storage here is 2 by 1 terabyte NVMe drives, both of them as Samsung, very fast. The main drive where Windows is 1 terabyte, and we have a secondary drive for games, again 1 terabyte NVMe drive, both Samsung, both covered with heat spreaders, very well done configuration. If we configure the same storage with the HP side and add everything else, including the 3070, including the memory, including the storage, including the power supply, we're gonna see that we are going to end up with over $2,000 for the same components, or almost the same components, because the 10900 is actually more expensive than the 10850, so even more expensive than the Lenovo computer. And then if you factor that you have to upgrade your case and you have to upgrade your cooling solution, that's another $200 you have to spend. So the HP computer comes down to be even more expensive than this Lenovo Legion T7. And the best part about the Lenovo Legion T7 is you don't have to do any modifications. You don't have to change you don't have to change case. You don't have to upgrade a cooling solution. You don't have to do anything. So you can get this out of the box and just enjoy it completely. Me as a computer enthusiast and somebody that's been building computers for over 20 years now, I can definitely take that computer and just put it on my desk and be done with it. I'm not even gonna do anything, not gonna touch anything. 32 gigabytes is plenty of memory today. RTX 3070 is plenty of power. This is over last generation 2080 Ti that was over $1,000 GPU. This is better in everything. You have an excellent all-in-one liquid cooler solution that it's dead silent, perfect fans. You got great setup with air ventilation, plenty of space to add hard drives if you want to add SATA 3 SSD drives if you want to. Just, it's something that I'm not even gonna upgrade the storage, because normally I do that because I buy the lowest possible Windows NVMe drive size storage, and then I add another one. You've seen my videos for all my games. For this one, I don't even have to do that because I already have 1 terabyte dedicated for that situation, and that's perfect. The good things about the case doesn't stop there. We have rubber feet in the bottom. Great thing to see. It's not just some foam. If you put it on your desk, it's not gonna go anywhere. Underneath the power supply, we actually have a plastic with mesh removable filter, just like high-end cases. A lot of cases today, including the one from HP, does not offer that. There is a mesh filter, but it's one of those cheapy ones. You gotta kind of squeeze and move around to take it out and clean. This one pulls from the back, and it's plastic, which is actually held by a screw as well on the bottom. So if you don't want to move it constantly, leave the screw there and it's gonna stay. But if you want to clean it, you're gonna have to tilt and unscrew and pull it out. But again, that's a big plus for me. That's extra thought from Lenovo engineers. 4 USB 3 points on the front versus only 2 on the HP. Headphone and microphone dedicated ports right in the front. We have 7 more USB 3 points on the back, USB-C as well, LAN port, and we have full audio for 5+1 or 7+1 ports. It's not just the 3 where normal OEMs have. This one has the full, so you can use it with like high level or high-end speakers to separate the sound and have a high quality sound on it. Even when you game or benchmark at the highest level, this one stays completely silent. Compared to the Omen 30L, which with the i9s, you can't even stand next to it because the AIO sounds like a leaf blower. With i5, my version with i5, that it's a lot cooler, still makes more noise than this one with i9 inside. So well done and so quiet. This is exactly how I would love to have all my computers, very silent. Obviously on the side here we have a glass window, and the glass window is 5mm thick. Most cases offer up to 4mm thick glass, which is great. It's nice and thick glass, but this one has even thicker, which is 5mm. It's super heavy. I haven't removed the plastic, like I mentioned, because I'm going to return this one because of the damage, and you're gonna see on the following videos when I get the replacement. But this glass is extremely thick, 5mm, with the Lenovo Legion logo right there. Very nice and sturdy. So I think Lenovo has done a tremendously well engineered case and computer right here. They even provide you the standoff, so vertical GPU with 2 slots in the back. So if you want to rotate your GPU, you can get one of those riser cables, place it right there and mount it in the back. I'm personally not a fan of that because it's way too close to the glass. If it was like another inch thick case, yeah, it would have been nice, but the way this case is done, it's standard and it's going to be a little bit crampy there, but they're giving you the option, which is great to see. Also perforations right here, right above the power supply, so in case you want to just rotate the power supply, have it the other way around, the fan to be on top, it's not going to have a problem. So well engineered and well thought out case, just like major case makers today, like something will come from Fantex or Fractal Design or Cooler Master or anybody. Very sturdy. The metal is not bendy. It's not. I mean, this case has taken a lot of beating. Trust me. It's very heavy, and without the top layer of foam inside the box, this was completely against it, and it was like on an angle. So it's a little bit dented here, but if that was a thin metal case, it would have been completely mangled. And graphics card provides not only one support on the back, you'll see the bracket, but also in the front, they have a special metal bracket that goes against the AIO plates that supports the cards, the graphics card in the front, and this big one on the back. It's bolted on the motherboard tray panel, so it provides an extra sturdiness for this graphics card because it's quite heavy, and if it's not held by that graphics card brace, it will droop down. And another great thing about the motherboard, they've added VRM heatsinks. Yeah, the HP Omen 30L also has VRM heatsinks, which are a must. I mean, for Z490 motherboard that is meant to be for overclocking, you definitely need that. Now, the graphics card being produced by MSI, I actually have a suspicion that the motherboard is also MSI just because of the way the layout is and the coloring. I've seen similar ones from MSI, so I'm thinking it might be MSI as well, which is a good thing. I'm glad that they're using MSI as a third-party manufacturer for their components. We have a nice RGB logo on the back of the metal plate for that RTX 3070. And these colors can be controlled. Everything can be controlled from the Lenovo Legion's Vantage software, which is exactly the same software you are familiar with if you've seen some of my Lenovo Legion laptop videos. Lenovo are managing to impress me. In the last year, I think the Legion 5, it's my favorite laptop. Such a great performance, such a great cooling done on that laptop, and the T7 now offers me the same high level performance and great cooling solution. So whoever's the designer inside Lenovo clearly is somebody that has a great experience with thermal conductivity, gaming, and they know exactly how things should be done for creating a high level or higher end gaming computer that people can buy and enjoy without having to do any modifications. I think you'll see some results. I ran some Cinebench R20. I did some gaming just to see the temps, how they are. We're gonna do a full performance review, obviously, on games, and we're gonna compare to the Omen 30L. We're gonna do a whole bunch of videos. You guys are gonna see everything possible about this Lenovo Legion T7. But for now, I'm extremely impressed and I'm extremely pleased. For $2,000, I think that is the best OEM pre-built computer you can buy. Trust me, if you look at any of the other ones, the differences are obvious. Even with Alienware, Dell's higher end gaming solutions, Alienware is not even close to this. They have only one fan intake. The cases are completely plastic. There's not even a window. The design is so not even last year, years before. This is exactly how the designs of gaming computers should be. Functional, good looking, and silent. This is what people want. This is what everybody wants. A good looking computer that it actually performs well without any problems. I mean, look at it. The design on the pump is great, matches the Legion logo. The colors of the fans in the RGB can be adjusted of different brightnesses from 1 to 4. There are so many different modes: breathing, static colors, turn off, turn on. You can do wave, all these modes that we are kind of come to expect from ARGB controlled fans today's day and age. So giving you all these options, this is very admirable from Lenovo, and I am actually genuinely surprised how well they have done. I was a bit skeptical knowing some of their other towers. The T5 is again very well engineered computer, but has small amount of air getting inside. It's not a full front mesh, and I'm talking about the last generation. I don't know if they're coming up with a new one, but whoever did it, they woke up and they did it the way it needs to be. Obviously, having that front mesh, this tiny front mesh that will stop a lot of the dust, and we have about an inch between the mesh and the fans, so plenty of room for those fans to breathe and to push air inside. Unfortunately, we don't have a complete control on our RPMs through the software or through the motherboard. You only have quiet, and you have balanced, and you have performance, which is 3 different levels. Quiet obviously is just when you don't game. If you want to put it on that, it's going to be dead silence. Balanced will automatically adjust everything for you. But if you want to put it on performance, they give you a lot more options to overclock there compared to what HP are offering. You can individually adjust the clock ratio of any of the cores. You can play with voltages. You can do all that it's similar to what you are used to seeing inside on motherboard's BIOS. Speaking of BIOS, this one on the Lenovo, it gives you a little bit more options. It's still pretty locked down. There's no XMP. There's no overclocking through the BIOS, but still they give you a little bit more options compared to what HP are giving you, which is almost nothing. But through the software, you can even do a little bit of overclocking on the GPU, but we know how it is. You can install MSI Afterburner and do all that by yourself if you really want to, but I really don't see the reason to do that at the moment, because this graphics card is so powerful compared to the last generation that nothing can really stop it in games. I mean, the frames are crazy good, close to what I'm doing with my 3080. Obviously, I'm playing on 1080p only, and I will be playing on 1080p only probably throughout this year, because it's still a valid resolution for me. I'm not eager to spend $400 or $500 for a monitor just to raise the resolution and lower my frames. Obviously, I prefer to have better frames, and on 1080p, this is flying. The only thing I wish that they add in the future is maybe bigger power supply and RTX 3080, because now the maximum video card that you can select with this configuration is RTX 3070, which for the most part and for most people would be plenty powerful. But for the high level enthusiasts, people that really want something much more powerful, 3080 would be great, and even 3090, why not, if we have a bigger power supply. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video, stay tuned to the channel, subscribe if you're new, hit that bell notification. I'm gonna have a huge amount of series of videos coming on this Lenovo T7 Legion, and we're gonna compare it to, obviously, with the other biggest competitor on the market, the Omen 30L. I already spoiled it for you guys. This is gonna be pretty much the winner of all the time, but a lot of people are questioning what they should buy, and I'm gonna help you make the decision by providing you all the information I can. That's pretty much it, guys. Until next time, you have a wonderful day.